That beard starting to come back. All right, update. So I got an ETP drill weekend, so I'll be able to look sexy again in uniform and not look like my dad. So I'm glad the beard is coming back. I want to speak about love and support when it comes to military spouses and ways you can love on your spouse through hard times, and also to active duty members, how you can love on your spouse during hard transitions, a PCS, a deployment, maybe going to basic, something like that. So let's talk about marriage. The foundation of marriage is love, trust, support, and being there for one another through the good and bad times. Now, when you think about the vows, when it says for better or for worse on your wedding day, it's so lovely. That's the best person you ever met in your life, and you feel so good because you're about to start this brand new life with this person that you've invested X amount of time in. And everything is great, everything is good. Cannot think of a bad thing to say about them. But transitions bring out the worst in people, and they can bring out the best in people. I'll speak for me. This transition has brought out some of the worst in me that I didn't know I had within myself. Because like I said before, I prayed for this exact moment to not happen, and I ended up getting the total opposite of what I prayed for. So for me, it's the worst case scenario. Leaving a career that you built, leaving stability, leaving a check. But when I hear myself talking, if you hear me talking, I'm talking about me, right? A marriage ain't about me. A marriage is about us, a team. It's all good when it's all good, but when it's all bad, it's very bad. As a spouse, you have to learn how to be that support system, because the army is going to make changes that they cannot control. And that's something that I'm learning as a spouse, as a guy that's been in the army 18 years. National Guard, but I've never had to leave anywhere voluntarily. Well, with my first marriage I did, but that was in state. So, like I said, with it being overseas, it adds another level of complexity. It's not easy to do this. Like, you hear the buzzwords, be supportive, be the backbone. It sounds good when you say it, but it's so much harder to do in practice when you have your own thing going on. But what I'm learning now in real time in a marriage is you're going to take the back seat at times. Damn bug flew on me, sorry. You're going to have to take the back seat sometimes. And you don't necessarily have to be fine with that, but the way you deal with that will affect your family. And if you're not supportive, it's going to ease out in ways that you don't even know. I'm not resentful for my wife. I am resentful for the orders because I know because of what it means to my career. And that's just being honest, but I'm working through that. I'm working through those emotions every day. I've known since October, and here it is, March. I'm just now coming to the realization of working through those emotions. and having a different outlook of what I have had on it. Now my foundational outlooks will be the same, but in marriage it ain't about me. It's about us as a team. There are gonna be times to where things are done that she's not gonna like, and there's gonna be time where things are done that I'm not gonna like. It's just this time, this season right now in this marriage, I have to take a back seat. And I think this is my first time saying that out loud. It's my first time in this marriage. I'm going to have to take a back seat to what I want to do with my life, or where I thought my life was going to go. Because all the skills and the knowledge and the experience I have, I'm not going to lose that. Am I going to lose this income? Yeah, but I'm not going to lose what I've learned along the way. I'm not going to lose what I've learned with all my experiences with being in the Guard, or my experience in the civilian sector, which has helped me launch me to the person that I am today, that helped me launch to the platform and position that I am today in the civilian world. So I'm not going to lose that. But what I am going to lose is agency with that company. I'm not going to lose agency over my own life. So let's take it back to being supportive. It's a inner battle, a inner struggle with me between doing what's best for me and doing what's best for the marriage. Now, I made this mistake. I don't even know if it was a mistake now that I look at it in retrospect. My first marriage, we got introduced with, hey, you're moving from Georgia to Maryland. And I gave up my career at that time. I didn't do any preparation. I didn't do any planning. I just up and left and said, hey, I'm going to be a stay-at-home dad. Now, the time I got with my daughter is invaluable, but when I look back on it, there were things I could have done in the background and make sure that we'd be in a better situation. And sometimes I think, I'm like, damn, should I have went or should I stayed? But when I think about it, I'm glad I did go, because all of those situations that happened in Maryland ended up to me being the person that I am today. It ended up shaping me for the person I am today. Now here I am faced with the same thing, but back in when I was going from Georgia to Maryland, I didn't have that much stuff to lose. Now I have so much stuff to lose. I have a career. I have financial stability. I'm in a great unit in the Guard. I'm around family and friends, but now I have to be supportive. You have to support. So that's the struggle that I face within myself as being a spouse, is finding ways to support and and contribute while also not holding resentment in because of the grief of what I'm being forced to let go. And I'm not going to tell you that it's easy. Like, it's not easy at all. As humans, well, as me, let me not speak as humans, as me, I like to be able to shape out my corner of the world, put my flag there and say it's mine. But what I'm learning is, ain't none of this shit mine. I'm only borrowing it for a second in time. And so I borrowed my space here, and now it's time for me to go borrow another space somewhere else. And where that space is, I don't have a clue. I don't have an idea. And that's what's so scary about it. And that's why I've been up at night. That's why I can't sleep at night. That's why I'm so worried. And that stuff will transfer on to your spouse. So let's get back to the word support. You can support your spouse and not agree with the mission, but your spouse is going to need you there for that emotional well-being. Like I said, you can't be everything to everybody, but you need to act as that emotional rock. And that's something that I haven't been, and it's something that I'm working on now. But I'm talking to you from experience, what I've learned, my mistakes, so you don't make those mistakes. You have to be that emotional rock. Talk to who you have to talk to. If your spouse, talk to them. But you have to be that emotional support system for them, because just like it's hard on you, it's hard on them as well. And I've wrestled with this in my mind for so long. I'm like, what is she losing versus what I'm losing? She's still getting active duty check on the 1st and 15th. She's still getting financial stability. She still has a place to work, to go to. With me, I feel like I'm losing more. And that's another thing you have to learn with support. Sometimes support ain't fair. And right now, for me in my life, the support is not fair. It doesn't mean it's going to be like that forever. But when you think about your life, has life ever really been fair? There are going to be seasons where you're on top, and there's going to be seasons where you're down. And I feel like I'm going into a down season. It sucks, but it is what it is. So just like you're going through a lot of emotions and pains about a PCS or deployment, your spouse is experiencing something that's parallel from you. So y'all need to be able to talk to each other about that. Talk about those feelings without it turning into a fight. That's another mistake I made. Whenever this conversation was brought up about Italy, like I said, I would tense up because it's a very tense situation to me. I have responsibilities. I have a child to support from a previous marriage that I'm being ordered to pay for. I'm being ordered to support by the court. So it's just not easy as saying, hey, I'm about to leave and go overseas. You have to put in motions for modifications. It's just a whole bunch of stuff that you have to do. So I'm fighting court with that. Then I'm going through this right here. And like I said, it felt like as soon as I got my life stabilized, boom, it's gone. But one thing I can say about my wife, she was there for me when I lost my jobs those 2 times, and she supported me back when I couldn't give a dime to the house. Back when I was getting $274 for unemployment, and she supported me through that whole time. She could have made a mess about it. She could have made a fuss about it, and I'm pretty sure she did. I know she felt that. She's about to feel it now when we go to one income. She's gonna feel that. But she's going to support me through that, just like she supported me through this. And now in return, because we're a union, I'm going to support her through this. Whether I'm kicking and screaming, I'm still going to support, because the vows that we made as a marriage is for better or for worse. And right now, to me, I feel like we're going into the worst stage. Is there worse shit that could be happening? Yes. Is there technically worse stuff that has happened? Yes. But as of right now in my life, this is the worst case. This is the worst thing I'm going through right now in my life for me when it comes to that. I'll probably make a part 2 to this as far as support and just the marriage and those dynamics, especially when it comes to military. Even if you're dual military, because we are dual military, I may make a part 2 to that. But I just want to drop that little game on you and just, like I said, document this experience of what I'm going through. And if anybody sees this, then hopefully I helped you out and you don't make the mistakes that I made.